Imagine a man with divine power, able to heal people, walk on water, and perform miracles everywhere he goes. This is Jesus, a human being like us, but someone who carried and used divine power. And if he was human like us, then we can become like Jesus? Can we carry the same power? Even though Jesus came to earth as an enlightened being, he was a still human like you and me. He knew hunger, pain, and loss. And this made me think, could the same divine capacity live inside each one of us? Like most people, I first heard about Jesus through stories from churches, Christians and Catholics. A man from Nazareth, they say, who walked on water, healed lepers, cast out demons, and spoke about a kingdom beyond this world. To be honest, at first I could not believe it. The things Jesus did felt too big, too miraculous to be real, almost like a myth, far away and impossible to reach. For me, Jesus was nothing more than a character from an old book. But life has a strange way of bringing things back when we are ready, doesn't it? As the years passed, something inside me started to move. A spiritual search helped me understand reality a little more. Through breathwork, sacred cacao, and ayahuasca, I felt that this material world was not the whole truth. I started to feel that there is something more, something bigger. And in that moment, Jesus came back into my mind. But this time, not as character from a legend, but as figure I needed to understand better. With an open mind, I started to really listen and reflect on Jesus. I read about him without so much skepticism. And even if you are not religious, it is hard to deny how admirable Jesus is. Because Jesus was not only a miracle worker or a healer. Yes, he performed miracles and wonders, but what makes him so powerful is his message of love. The scriptures show him as someone with a pure heart, someone who says to forgive again and again, someone who says not to worry about tomorrow, because God is already providing. The story of Jesus was not just the story of a religious man. It was the story of a man concerned with things beyond this world, with the kingdom of his Father above. And if you imagine someone truly living like that in real life, it is amazing. Because Jesus was not just preaching beautiful words or philosophical ideas, he lived what he said. But still, in front of such a heavenly figure, I have one question. Can you and I really become like him? The obstacle to become like Jesus. Look, I'm not a guru. I do not have all the answers. But in my own small way, I try to understand the divine mystery. Through spiritual experience, I started to understand a little of the obstacle that stops us from becoming divine and pure. On the spiritual and religious path, there is a great enemy, the weak ego. Imagine this. When God created everything, He placed a part of Himself inside every creation. Let's call it the divine sparkle. A pure and sacred part of the Creator inside everything, inside a tree, inside the human, the animals. Now imagine that you and I were also created by this God. In a simple way, inside us there must also be this spark. We can understand this easily when we look at a child. A child is pure, and all of us were once a children. But as we grew up, we lose touch with this spark. We become corrupted by the world, by fear, attachment, desires, anger, and all these powerful human emotions. And this is the ego. It is who we think we are, our identity. As I said, I'm not a guru, but I believe that a weak ego creates division. Division and with the divine sparkle and the ego. Imagine that when you were a child, you did not have this heavy ego. You were almost like a divine expression of God. But as you grew up, something was lost. The weak ego appeared, thinking it is the center of the universe. Lost in the noise of the world, lost in the shadows, lost in the desires of the flesh. Okay, but in the solution, what it is? Well, you already know, my friend. You have already been there. You have already lived in a way like Jesus. Remember when you were young? You shone like the sun. Thanks for your attention. I am Haria, and remember, the truth lives within you.